All right, you guys ready?
Yep. Ready as I'll ever be.
Roll the intro.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ah, fuck.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Bitcade. My name is Ryan A. Moore. Joining me, like always, is
Ashton.
and also from actually the last episode, Tyler is here again. How you doing, man? Good. Glad you're.
Oh shit! What the fuck? I was muted.
See, this is why I don't play any games because I get totally distracted.
No. Stream.
No, I was just muted. No, I wasn't even saying anything on stream. Wasn't talking to anybody. I told them what I was doing. I was getting ready for the intro and everything. I'm like, all right, I got the keybind set, so I need to mute myself on Discord. I'm fine. Yeah, my dumbass forgot to unmute myself.
And,
My God.
Anyway, again, like always, Tyler's links are in the description below, so go check him out on all this stuff throughout the.
If you want. I mean, he's okay.
Yeah, you know,
Fuck you,
show the
bitch.
show the PT love there.
We're one and the same. I've done things for you. You have yet to do anything for me, but verbally abuse me all the time.
What have you done for me?
I love you, but the love is going
baby.
away. And
My love for you will never fade.
We'll talk about that.
Unlike the color of my jeans.
Oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the topics we're talking about this week are, or not this week, this month, or this series, this episode is the Xbox conference did happen. We talked about PlayStation, so let's talk about Xboxes. We also are going to talk about Game of the Decade of 2017 and poking out the representative that will be coming out of 2017, and then we are also going to be talking about the price of the next gen gaming. Is it gonna be too much? They're hitting that $70 price tag, and we'll be going into discussion about that. All right, kicking things off. We're going right into it. 2 minutes in, we're kicking off the first one. Xbox's July update is what they called it, or conference, or sort of thing.
I know.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, it was their little presentation they did here in July of 2020. They talked about some games that were coming to the Xbox Series X, and there was some standout contestants there. You know, they brought some pretty big hitters. I thought it was a well-rounded conference. Let's start there. How do you guys feel about the update in general? Did you feel like on a scale of 1 to 10, or let's go with a grade? If you were to grade it, letter scale. Ashton, where are you going with?
I'd give it a B.
A B.
There
Solid
wasn't
B.
enough gameplay for me.
Okay.
There's more trailers than anything.
But you thought enough game announcements to get it a good solid grade, a
Oh,
passable
yeah,
grade.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Okay. Tyler?
Letter grades for the conference or whatever the fuck we're calling it. I'll go with B.
A solid B again. Okay.
Yeah, it's the games were good, even though it's a lot about gaming nowadays. Is like, even though I don't play all those games, I understand that they could be very well good. And I'm definitely down to watch the ones that were shown. May not play them, but I'll watch. So what? What's good with you? Fuck up. I know.
For my letter grade, I would probably give it. I mean, you guys were off the cuff. Bam, boom, bam, Shazam. You threw it out there. I think
Shazam's a great movie.
That's true. I think I'm gonna give it a B minus. Just because of the lack of, like Ashton was saying, gameplay. I felt like there were some games there that should have gotten some gameplay. For example, we're not going to talk too much about it, but like Forza Motorsport felt like that was interesting just to say. But I guess they kind of had to say that it was coming, but it's not coming anytime soon. So that was interesting. There was just some games that I felt like, oh, that should be coming soon. Like Hellblade doesn't have a release date. Even though that was like one of the first games they showed, and it's just interesting. So I'll give it a B minus, because I would have rather had some dates. They didn't show any dates on anything, just constant holiday, which I think is mainly because they don't want to reveal the day of those games because we also didn't get to see the day of the console release or the price. So those were two big things they did.
It's rumored disclaimer, that they're going to be announcing that stuff next month, or technically this month if you're watching this in August. So
yeah, I guess that episode would come out. The first thing that we're going to talk about is Halo Infinite. Ashton, you did a video about this. Can you give us a brief synopsis of your 5-minute or some odd video that you had posted just a little bit earlier?
Yeah. So basically, people are pretty much torn on the art style. Some people really like it. A lot of people don't like it. Me, it's a little on the cartoony side for me. There were some problems with it because it's an old build, roughly anywhere from like 2 to 6 months old. So, there's some textural problems. So there's lots of memes came out of that. It's open world. Armor abilities are back. Sprinting stays. Advanced movement basically stays, except for thrusting so far. So that's pretty much what's going on. Nothing on multiplayer yet, just on campaign. So yeah, audio sounds great.
Yeah. You know what? Let's stick with the theme here. What grade would you give it? The Halo reveal, or the Halo campaign reveal, I guess.
I'm gonna have to say C+, and the reason. Okay. Nah, fuck that. That shit gets a C because they
still
showed
passes though, but
still
just
passes
barely.
because I'm still excited for it. It was too old of a build. Too old of a build. Why the fuck would you show that off? Why would you even do that? That was dumb. I don't like the art style. That also brought it down a little bit. But I don't know. It looked like it was gonna be fresh, so I'm down for fresh Halo. I don't need OG Halo. I have Master Chief Collection. Whoever's asking for that can shut up. They have Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, I think from my takeaway of watching it, I did think it was really cool. I did not watch it with you guys. I watched it by myself. I was working at that time, so I was kind of watching it back and forth of working and then looking at the iPad and watching the stream. But yeah, I do like how there's this open worldness to it. I don't know how extensive they're going to get to that. I mean, that's definitely a first for Halo. They've kind of teased it or tested it a little bit from Combat Evolved, and then they've kind of sprinkled it here and there. But it never got to extent of open worldness. There's just like,
linear.
Hey, here's like a rectangle instead of just a hallway. So I mean, who knows? I did think the grapple hook thing was badass. That was the coolest thing I saw from that.
The fucking fusion coil.
Yeah, I hope that that's not just an add-on, but by the sounds of I think what you've been looking at, it is an add-on kind of thing where you get an ability like that. Who knows if maybe that's in multiplayer you can choose to have the grapple hook, and maybe in the campaign you just have it. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows if they'll have like loadouts or something, or if it's gonna be a pickup on the map.
It does look like driving handling does look really nice.
Oh yeah,
so
super smooth.
I think there's gonna be a lot more races that are gonna happen in there. I did notice in the gameplay when they were showing it, that the elites were doing these like barrel rolls, like these combat rolls, and I'm like, I've never seen them do that before, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, they did that. It's actually in the video that.
I remember doing it like in Halo's history.
Okay, yeah, but that was. I just thought it was real. You remember that it happened, or you don't? Remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. In Halo's history, it does. Like if you throw a grenade at them, they'll do it. If they're getting shot, sometimes they'll just like.
Okay, maybe I just haven't ever noticed it before, but it definitely looked really nice, and like their movements of how the elites were moving around were a little more agile. You are fighting the elites again, so that's kind of interesting. The
elites and the brutes.
Yeah. So one thing I did notice, all we saw was Covenant. There was no Flood that we saw. Obviously, it's the beginning of the game. There's no Prometheans. There's very interesting that they're showing the Covenant again, which obviously is the staple of the enemy of who we're fighting, but the Flood is also a giant portion of Halo, so I don't know why they didn't touch that. It seems like we're also getting this boss guy that's going to be running this are going to be our villain of the whole entire game. But it seems more story driven than I think any Halo is ever gonna go, like has ever gone before, and so I'm really excited about that. And I don't know what that means, but I'm really excited about that. So for me, my grade, I would give it a B. I also thought it looked muddy in some spots. Obviously, the screenshots when they're clipped, a little leaves to be more desired.
Pop-in issues and stuff like that. It's mainly like rendering problems, which.
But I mean, I thought the gameplay looked smooth. Aside from that, textures are textures, I guess. I don't mind going back and playing older looking games, so I don't really care. But I do know that is a big selling point for some people. My dad, he is very much one of them. He thinks Minecraft looks like shit, and he refuses to play it. So because of that reason, he says it's unacceptable.
When it has that ray tracing on it.
He says it's unacceptable that they look pixelated in this modern technology.
Art style.
And that's why it doesn't matter. It does not matter. He doesn't care.
So my dad is too.
He says it's unacceptable. So that could be just because of that generation too. So, but yeah. Tyler, what do you got with Halo? A C.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like some of the things I think about Halo right now, like it's along the same lines of like Ashton, like why would you show a 6-month-old build? But then
very true.
They're probably like let's appease the fans. Are the fans like truly happy with what they've seen? Honestly, in ways like I don't understand how anybody could be excited for a game like this.
Sure.
More so because I feel like when you see like. And me and Ashton went over this, like the way he looks, the fact, some of the weapons, Chief himself with weapons too, because the Halo 2 battle rifle is back, right? The AR is reminiscent.
The AR is Reach. It's
AR is
Reach copy.
Reach. The energy sword is reminiscent of like before Halo 4 energy sword, like where it had like the hilt of the energy sword is actually rounded. Halo 4 had like more like hexagonal like at the base of it, and basically I'm bringing up all these things to show off the point that I didn't like that. I got the feeling that they're trying to go back, they're trying to recapture old fans, but they feel like you can't really do, right? You shouldn't let old fans hold you back from progressing your game.
So are you saying that you feel like 343 is putting themselves in a corner of trying to backtrack of what they've done with 4 and 5?
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like they're trying to bring back old fans because they know fans are very important in a game like this. If you bring back old fans, you're like, you better off, right? Your old fans are never really going to leave if you can make them happy. But then again, it's much like what Call of Duty had to do when like Black Ops 3 came out and Advanced Warfare came out. You have to move forward at some point, right? In terms of like movement and integrating new like game mechanics, Halo 5 was like peak for Halo, that is, right? Or let's look back at like, Halo Reach. And you get to 5. 4 and 5 those is like sprinting is not an armor ability. I can just do this now, right? Which, by the way, a lot of old Halo fans don't want sprinting in the game. I don't understand why. I
can't stand it when it doesn't have the sprinting thing. And when was it Reach where they gave it like the ability? It was an ability. I hated that. Did not like that at all.
You can't sprint indefinitely. Well, still in the game you can't sprint indefinitely, but it feels more like impactful that you can do it as you please, and not I gotta wait for this to charge up.
I think that's definitely more of where like Halo adapted to being a modern shooter, because at the time, obviously Call of Duty, during that time of choice of making it so you can run in a video game, that became a staple in FPS games, and that was because probably Call of Duty, if we really think about it. So when you, as a game, and this is where people don't understand, of where it's like you have to adapt in order to bring your franchise forward. That's why Final Fantasy has fucking done it with 7. That's why Resident Evil did it with remaking 2 and 3. You have to remake your game in order for modern day.
You wouldn't even say Final Fantasy did it with 7. You would say Final Fantasy. I didn't. The only Final Fantasy I know that I've played that I reinvented and made me actually interested in Final Fantasy was 15. Like we talked about.
Okay, I guess
because that's freeform combat. Like
I guess I was more of talking about like with, I guess, updates, but that would be more of a drastic linear thing of Halo comparison, because as your game progresses on, and especially with Final Fantasy, like you were mentioning, 15 games in, you have to adapt. They're not going to let you play. I mean, Chrono Trigger's done it, but I mean, their audience is very much dwindled in over around the world, but it's very popular still. But like, nonetheless, Final Fantasy does not play like Final Fantasy. Like Final Fantasy 15 is a completely different type of game. When you look back at the old, it looks different. It obviously looks different. It plays different. You're not, you don't have some flat map and you're moving across it. It doesn't play because most audiences don't want to play that. So whereas you go back to Halo, to tie it back, it's like, yeah, you have to adapt in order to bring your game forward, and that running ability just has to be there. But
yeah, no, and then like, it makes me like so like sad to see how Halo's gonna be, like, again on the topic of like being stuck in your old ways. Like when I was on Twitter like days after this reveal, and people were like, "Oh my god, it reminds me of Halo 1." I don't like that. It should have reminded you of Halo 1. We want new, right? You can have same old Chief, but I want new game. New mechanics, new things to do. I feel like it's a real slap in the face. Someone who really enjoyed 5, and you're like, you know what? It's like taking a child's candy away, but giving them vegetables. It's like, hey, we're gonna take your thrusters away, but here we're gonna give you a grapple hook. That's not a replacement.
Yeah,
that doesn't do it.
I don't know. It definitely is a, yeah, like you're saying, it's kind of like a love and take sort of situation, because you don't know what. I mean, we don't really know what this is, and as much as we want to see Halo succeed, because obviously it's the main flagship game. When you think Xbox, you always think Halo. No matter if you love it or you hate it, that game has to do well in order for the console to be the best, the best selling console for next generation. So it just has to be good. It's not Gears of War where you could be like, oh yeah, Gears of War is an Xbox game. That's a different thing. It's Halo. That is the mascot of Xbox. So it's like, But and I think that's kind of the situation where Microsoft is putting themselves in right now, and I think they're really trying to dig out of is they don't have those big IPs to be like throwing out there. I mean, PlayStation doesn't have very many years ahead of them, but they have enough to put themselves into throwing in classic games and things like that, of where they can go back to. And then they have modern IPs that have caught on, but they don't catch on right away. They just had time to fail and then eventually get a cult following and then continue on. Uncharted was a great game, but no one fucking bought that game when it came out. You had to hear about, oh yeah, there's this cool action adventure game, and you just eventually bought Uncharted. And then there's 5 of them now. And so, or 6. There's a Vita one.
4.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I think there's. Wow. Yeah, I think there's 6 Uncharted games with Vita, and then the standalone thing.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, it turned into its own franchise. God of War was a hack and slash game that no one gave a fuck about, and then they made 4 of them, or 5 of them now. So I mean, they've had time to develop these failures and then keep going. But Xbox doesn't really have that, other than like Forza, Halo, and Gears. So it's like, you can't put a car as your mascot, and Marcus is no longer the main selling point of Gears of War. So now you have Chief, and he's been around for decades, almost 2 decades. So
yeah,
it definitely is something that needs to succeed. But okay, so covering that, moving on to the next one. Ashton, you gave it a C- for the Halo reveal.
C.
C. Solid C. Okay. And then Tyler, you gave it a C-, right? Or you gave it a solid C?
No, we're gonna kick that down to a C-.
Okay, C-, and then I'm gonna give it. I can't even remember what I said. I think I said a B. Yeah. Leave more to be desired. But I feel like I'm not as taken back by. I'm not the diehard Halo fan I once was, but I'm still excited to see Halo. All right, next one. We are going to talk about State of Decay 3. This was kind of a cool little announcement. A little different art style if this is what the game's going to look like.
Yeah, it's looking more gritty this time.
It looks better.
Tyler, why don't you start us off there? How did you feel? What's the letter grade you're going to give this one?
Fucking. Can we get like an I for intriguing? No, I'll give it a B because compared to only reason I'm giving it a B is because no gameplay. First off, so that kind of like hinders like any excitement I could have for it. On top of that, it intrigues me. Like I said, it's the art style looks different. The whole like the like I'm pretty sure like in the past when they showed trailers, it wasn't as like gritty. It wasn't as like this one kind of looks dark. Like they're going for like a whole nother kind of feel for it, which I'm definitely for. I feel like the past State of Decays, even though they were fun, to me they were a little too cartoony in terms of art style.
Now this
and
is
whatnot.
Playdead Labs. Is that them? Is this?
I believe so.
Okay.
Might be. But yeah, I feel like it's a little too cartoony in the past. But this one's looking like it's maybe really good. So I'm like waiting for this one. Do we know when it's gonna come out?
I don't think it had a release date. I don't think any of these games had release dates to them.
Unfortunate.
So B from you. All right. So Ashton, what's your grade?
Same.
Okay.
Basically for the same reasons. I mean, the thing is, like, we didn't get any gameplay. I'm B because it looks good. It looks like it's going somewhere, but you never know with these reveals where they just do a teaser trailer like what we got. If that's real time or if that's pre-rendered and a cutscene. You don't know if that's like in-engine footage. You know, like that's how the game's actually going to look. So I'm skeptical because it's a big jump, especially for a
Undead
smaller
Labs.
studio.
Sorry, just correct
Undead
myself.
Labs.
Yeah.
It's a smaller studio, so it's. I'm a little skeptical. But
first party now, though. They're first party.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I am excited because I did like the second one a lot. So I am excited. I'll give it a B.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a solid B as well. I'm thinking that this is definitely what Undead is probably wanted to make for a really long time. It seems like, I mean, I haven't heard very many interviews about it, but it seems like the studios that I do hear that are being picked up from the Microsoft Studios brand is they're loving it. I mean, especially Obsidian, which we'll get to their game in a second. And this to me looks like what would have happened if they had got tossed a couple bucks to like make their game better. And I think that we're seeing exactly that. And I think we're going to see what's going to happen with all these studios that have gotten the extra kickback from Microsoft in to get that time and that money that they don't have to worry about anymore. They don't have to go like, oh shit, we need to sell 100 million units to fucking make ends meet. But now it's like, no, you just get paid. You're getting a normal paycheck, and I'm sure whatever the contract deal is. But now you work for Microsoft, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So now you can just focus on making the game good, which I'm very excited about. And I never played the first State of Decay. The second State of Decay I did play. But it just didn't really catch me. Like I played maybe a couple hours of it, and I like the concept of it, especially where like people can die or like it's randomly generated of whoever you find and meet, and then that kind of progresses your story. There's like New Game Plus and things like that. So if this is the art style to it, and if it's going to look like this and give this different tone of what State of Decay has been, very excited about it. So I'm going to give it a B for excitement and seeing that based on this trailer. Hopefully this is what the game looks like. That gets a solid B. So there you go. Anything else for State of Decay 3?
Nope.
All right. Moving on to the next one. Ashton, I'll let you take the reign on this one because I always can never say the name of it. Obsidian has a new game that they're working on. What the heck is happening over there at Obsidian?
Well, they've always wanted to make a, they had their hand at, Fallout New Vegas, and they always wanted to make games like that. And they only got to make really just the one. And they also did the Outer Worlds, correct?
They did Outer Worlds, and I believe they did KOTOR.
Outer Worlds. They might have.
I'll look that up right now. But go ahead.
But essentially, they always wanted to make a game like Skyrim. Now Microsoft is giving them money. Like, yeah, go make whatever the fuck you want. You guys are amazing. Hence why we're getting their new title, the new IP called Avowed, which is a kind of like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls. It's a fantasy kind of medieval RPG. Looks like first person. You got magic. You got weaponry. Lots of different monsters to kill. The graphics looked great. I think we got some a little bit of gameplay in the trailer, so just a tad. Nothing too crazy, but overall, I mean, anything Obsidian makes, I'm totally down to play. Like every title that I've played of theirs, I have thoroughly enjoyed. So that shit, ooh, I mean, that's gonna be an A minus for me, just because we didn't get any time when that's gonna be coming, and we also didn't get like a whole lot of gameplay. They also didn't really explain a whole lot about it. They just kind of said, "Hey, look at what we're doing right now. You want to know what it is? Haha, haha. Too bad, bitch. You gotta wait." So
By the way,
they're definitely blueballing us.
As a side note, I implore that people go up and look at this Wikipedia page of Obsidian Games because it's very well organized and very well done. But the game that they made first was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, The Sith Lords. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. And I guess there's a brief thing here. Where was it? Here, I'm trying to find the little excerpt here. But like they wanted to make a different game, but then they were told to like, hey, why don't you just make the sequel to Knights of the Old Republic? And they're like, oh, okay, cool. They also made Neverwinter Nights 2, Alpha Protocol, Fallout New Vegas, Dungeon Siege 3. So there is some fantasy stuff that they've worked on. South Park: The Stick of Truth, Pillars of Eternity, Skyforge, Pathfinder Adventures, Tyranny, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, The Outer Worlds, Grounded, and then what has just been announced. Wow, there's actually they were gonna make an Aliens game. There's some canceled games that they've done. But yeah, I guess going into what I think about it, I totally think that it's pretty cool that like they're very excited to make this game, and like going back to the state of Undead Labs' sort of thing where I'm happy to see developers happy, and if Xbox is helping these developers get to where they need to be, and I think this game has clearly been in development or in the works since they were brought on to being a part of Microsoft Studios, which I think they even touched on in the little video thing of presenting the little Obsidian bit that they threw into the update of the Xbox update. But yeah, I think it's very cool to see some developers excited to make a game. I'm gonna give it a B plus. It is a fantasy game, so I'm not gonna give it an A because I'm a little skeptical about that. But I love Obsidian, and if Outer Worlds was as good as it was, and they made that game on their own, I cannot wait to see what is gonna come out of this. So B plus. Tyler, what do you think?
B minus for sure.
Okay.
Because it I
mean, it's your opinion.
Thing is, no, it's just everybody else explained it. I'm gonna explain my part.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no gameplay. I think the part that like Ash was talking about, I think that could have just been like rendered in, like something that I just set in, like more like a cinematic. Like it could just be like, oh, we just have this little piece just to show off like how the game could look. If the game's gonna
nothing
look like
more
that,
different than what we saw with State of Decay 3.
Yeah, if the game's gonna look like that, that'll be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Also, it's like Obsidian did. What's the game that is it Outer Worlds?
Yeah. He's streaming right now, so he's kind of sidebarring it just for people at home. Yes, Outer Worlds was like.
I actually could have. I put the control down. I couldn't actually think of the name. I'm a fucking dumbass. Outer Worlds. The thing about Obsidian is that no matter I feel like how much they try, even though like they worked with some of the Fallout games, I would like to see them make something that like sets themselves like truly away from like Bethesda. If you look at like again how they worked with Fallout, Outer Worlds, I would have liked it to look completely different from Fallout, but it didn't. So my fear about this is, will this be too like Skyrim? Will like Skyrim plus? That's my only fear. That's what I would like to see, something completely different, right? No, none of the whole.
What is it going to take for that? Do you have any hopes and dreams that to set it apart from a little different Elder Scrolls?
Art style for sure.
Okay.
Because art style of like say Outer Worlds and like Fallout 4, Fallout 76, it's about the same. So it's like a little different art style. Take us away from like would you call them, Vikings looking like in
Sure.
Skyrim? I
Yeah,
don't
like
know,
Nord,
Nord, no, yeah,
Norse
okay, it's Nord, that's what they
mythology.
are. Yeah, take us a little bit from that. Like, say if it was like more like knights, that would be kind of fire.
Okay.
Like,
More of an
like
English
Templar
sort of feel
yeah,
to it, not like Norse sort of feel
yeah.
to it.
So
Okay.
more like along the lines of that, I feel like they can set themselves aside from what Skyrim was, and they'd be greater like on their own. Because I actually feel like I'm not the only one that feels like when you think of Obsidian, you're just automatically drawn to Fallout, which is not it's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Because they
either
feel like
Knights
they're
of the
just
Old Republic or Fallout is kind of where you
yeah.
kind of throw yourself there.
Exactly. And up until you just brought that up, I didn't know they did that. So probably a lot more people like me who just automatically boom Fallout, which is you want to be different. You want to cast yourself from that and like I don't even know the fucking word. Just make your own path. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if
yeah,
they
I totally agree with you on that. Where it's like you were saying, like it feels like when you play Outer Worlds, it feels like a Bethesda game because they look like it. The character, when you talk to somebody, the little chat thing comes up, and you know it does feel like that. And I think you're right. If they want to set themselves apart, they definitely have to forge their own path. They got to make their own style of that type of game. Yeah, I agree.
I definitely will have my eyes on this game to see what I just listed. Like, what not exactly what I listed, but something to just set it aside from like Skyrim. So like it's like okay, I can actually get into this. I don't feel like I'm gonna get bored just like I did with Skyrim a little bit. Like you can do so many run throughs before you're like, what the fuck? No more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be I've not used fantasy is hard for me to get into, and like I was saying, but I think with Obsidian, I'm willing to give it a shot. So see what they're gonna do.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because like I didn't really like the Fallout games either, but for some reason I love Outer Worlds. Like
I could only get into Fallout 3. I could have done it before.
I think a lot of people really got into Fallout 3, and then Fallout 4 was just more of a rehash of
like
3.
A DLC,
so so a lot of people didn't really like that. But I think I did play a little bit of Fallout 3 too, but it just it didn't really hit me. Okay, so there's that. Let's head into a console launch exclusive, The Medium. This is very interesting. Now, I don't know if you guys have looked up how this game is supposed to be played or how the game is supposed to be, or is there anything? This wasn't the reveal of The Medium, but it was just Microsoft coming out saying that it's going to come to console first on our platform, which is definitely good for them to get kind of out there with like, hey, we're making deals and we're getting exclusives to come over here first. So I guess I'll start with this one. I like the creepy factor to it. I like this whole split dimension sort of thing where like you're in a hell world, but then you're also in this like post-apocalyptic sort of weird Silent Hill bullshit. It's awesome in all the ways possible. So I'm gonna give it a B+. Just because I guess I just need to see more in order for it to get to an A. But it's definitely like I'm super intrigued in it. I think that with the lack of no Silent Hill type style games, that this sort of game is going to come out and shine. And I'm very intrigued with this whole like flipping dimension sort of thing where they've kind of shown in different games, but this is definitely one that's gonna, I guess, implement it through the whole entire game. So B+ for me.
Nice.
Ashton, you want to go? What do you think about The Medium? You like getting spooked?
I do. Yeah, I like that we actually got to see a little bit more from this one. It's for me. I'm just excited to see anything from. I think it's Bloober, right? Bloober team.
Let me go check. But yeah, go ahead.
Because I played. It's made by the same people who made Blair Witch, correct? I believe that's right. And I really like that game, and then this game just takes it to a whole fucking different level. I mean, it's completely, like what you're saying, the Silent Hill kind of feel. I haven't seen any game like that in a very, very long time, and it's graphically it just looks fucking amazing. It definitely has that creepy vibe going for it. It looks like you're in hell, and then you're back to normal and like this fucking abandoned derelict fucking wherever the hell she is, and just going back and forth between the worlds, just I can just tell it's gonna be fucking amazing.
So this company, Ashton, I think you are slowly into making this one of your favorite teams. They made Layers of Fear, Layers of Fear 2, like you said, Blair Witch. They've also made Observer, which I've been trying to get to, but I have not been able to get to. And then obviously they're making the Medium. Poland company, so they're a Polish team.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool that they've became this like little small team, and now they've gotten this like big game coming out. But right now it's just holiday 2020 for that. Right now,
okay.
their tagline is "You've only seen half so far." So
nice.
And what grade did you give it?
I will give it also an A-.
A-. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tyler, what do you feel?
I'm gonna stick with B. Like I haven't
Solid
the
B.
entire night. 'Cause it's like, no gameplay hurts it. It does look very interesting. I got like a weird fucking Devil May Cry vibe out of it. Because anybody realize when she goes to like the Silent Hill like place, her hair is white?
Yeah.
Which is like interesting. So I wonder is like on top of like I feel like not being the traditional, I guess like not being traditional, what was it? The other game they made, Blair Witch or like Layers of Fear. Like, is she gonna be fighting these things? Is she gonna be? It could also
that's fair.
like her hair changes and she gets like something like added onto her arm, like her clothes kind of change a little bit. So again, like makes me think of Devil May Cry. So will she be able to fight? Which would be cool because it seems like there's a boss of sorts, like that one dude that was following her around that was about to choke her out. Like, is he what we're chasing or what we're running away from? Because we never know. So those are the things I will like answer. I would really like, for that style of game, if I was able to fight, that would be like fucking dope as shit. But
now, I do want to say that was gameplay. They are saying that was gameplay. Yeah.
Ah.
So that was in engine, and that was some gameplay stuff that was happening in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll be running and platforming and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Yeah. I think that kind of sums that one up. The Medium. So let's head over to our last. Oh wait, no, we have two more left. Because I totally didn't add the last thing. So we'll save that one for last. We'll save the mic drop that they did later on. Crossfire X campaign reveal was shown. I'll kind of briefly do this since this was kind of just one I wanted to highlight. I did play the beta of the multiplayer game of this. It is very much leaves a lot to be desired. Spawn points are garbage. As soon as you're literally at the end of a hallway, and as soon as someone gets over to that side of the hallway, they can just start spawn killing you, which was fucking terrible. It does play a little bit different than CS:GO and all of those other like buy shooters, like I don't know what they call them, where you like buy the guns and stuff like that. It's a little different than that. It has its own kind of way of playing like that, but not really being that kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
It's but yeah, I think the multiplayer is a lot to be like maybe not the highlight of this game. Now Remedy taking the Crossfire X campaign reins seems really awesome. I love Remedy. I have still not played Control, but I have played Alan Wake. That's one of my favorite Xbox 360 games of all time. And then also, oh man, now I'm losing. What's the one that they made? Okay, we'll move on to that. I'll look that up as we're kind of talking. But I think that it's cool that Remedy is taking this collaboration with a game that's super popular, and they're gonna add this next step of how much Crossfire can just become the next big thing. Crossfire X is, I think, an exclusive to just Xbox, so that game is not playable on PC. Huh?
Wait, no.
Crossfire is able to be played on PC, but Crossfire X, I think, is an exclusive because you were not able to play the beta version of that.
I think they're only just calling it, like, adding that extra part of it because it's a port. 'Cause remember, it was a Japanese-only thing.
I believe they're Chinese.
Chinese? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Chinese.
Can we just be safe and say Asian? To be fair.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't know. I think it was like Asian only, and then we were the only ones getting it. Like Xbox didn't, but we. If I remember correctly, they talked about it.
This is from Metabomb, and it says, will Crossfire X be playable on PC? So far, there is no word on Crossfire X coming to PC. So there's that. Because I think the Crossfire X portion is the Xbox part. The original game you can play on PC, and it is only on PC. But this is like a whole new thing that they're trying to push and get a bigger audience for, which is cool that this team is trying to make Crossfire more of a worldwide thing and get the Western audience involved, because it's definitely like one of the biggest games in the world, but it's not very popular here, because just PC is not big for us. It's a big thing, but like consoles is the mainline way of accessing video games. So yeah, it's I think it's cool. I think it's cool that the campaign looked cool. I just hope it plays well. I think mechanically the game played well. It just, the multiplayer was just garbage, so I just didn't really like it. I think it has enough. It can get there. It just needs to fix a few things, but I think it could get there. But yeah. So my grade for it would probably be like a C+. I think because Remedy is doing it, it gave it that plus. But I mean, after the beta, it just wasn't that great. I could have let it just slide. So C+. Ashton, what do you feel?
See, I just wasn't really super interested in it. I was kind of like, I heard the beta was pretty shitty, so I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's all to me.
Yeah, sure. What do you think?
Honestly, okay. Are we taking the game as a whole, or are we just talking about the campaign that we saw?
What we saw there, but I did consider that though. So whatever you feel.
If we're talking about the campaign,
Quantum Break is the other game that Remedy made. That was the game I couldn't think of. But anyway.
If we're talking about the what we seen that day, definitely an A.
Oh, okay.
For sure. It looks really good. It's reminiscent really of like a better Call of Duty campaign.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like the action sequences shown. One thing that I don't like about it is I'm getting tired of developers not making their campaigns co-op. Getting really old. But besides that, no. Campaign. The multiplayer I didn't get to play it because I was busy that weekend, which sucked. But nah, I'm definitely gonna the campaign aspect at least an A.
Yeah, I mean, some games are like that. Some games have a better campaign than they have as a multiplayer, and they do really well. So, I mean, hell, Uncharted had it for a whole bunch of times, and no one gave a shit about it. So it was like,
fair enough.
Yeah. All right, I think we move on from Crossfire. Let's hit into the mic drop that they decided, but there's one more thing. Fable finally got announced. It finally is out there in the open. Playground Games is working on it. We all knew this. They just finally revealed that it's official and done. Ashton, how do you feel about Fable? Fable? Not Fable, continue insert number here. It's Fable now. So how do you feel about
that? Well, I don't know. I was worried, because I've basically seen leaks and rumors and stuff. I've been following Fable, anything Fable coming from Xbox for the past 2 years in like deep dark holes. Anything I could get, like a fucking crack addict. And when I heard Playground Games, I was kind of bummed that none of the old developers were brought from Lionhead Studios.
Mm-hmm.
To come back and work on the game.
Now, for the folks at home, can you give us a brief bullet point of who Lionhead is and who Playground is?
Lionhead is the original creators of Fable 1, 2, 3, and Fable Legends, who was shut down because of creative differences and stuff like that, creating some conflict between the head of Lionhead Studios and some of the other devs, because he had different expectations and yada yada yada. And then Playground Games are the people who make Forza Horizon. And they just put in a new studio in the UK, so they now have a new studio that makes Fable. And they are basically calling it Fable, and just Fable, probably because it's going to be kind of like a reboot. They're basically going to kind of just, it's a different way to play Fable, basically different than the way we played it. Kind of like how Halo Infinite isn't going to be Halo 6. Even though it's a continuation where it left off, they're not going to play the same way, is my expectations so far. I don't know. I was worried about the humor thing because Fable, as a series, has always been full of humor and been
very
goofy,
heavy
and
British
funny.
comedy.
British comedy, so good. And they did capture that a little bit with the little teaser trailer we got, but I'm really looking forward to seeing more. So.
And what's your grade for it?
I mean, I'm not gonna give it an A because I was expecting to see more, because I mean, technically, this game has been at least a little bit, maybe not at full capacity, in the works for 2 years. So I was kind of expecting a little bit more than just a little teaser trailer. Yeah, because I mean, rumors and leaks and stuff like that, like the graphics look pretty similar to the teaser trailer we got, and the leaks that we saw earlier, like a year ago. And I don't know, I was kind of really hoping for a lot more. So I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay.
Because it's basically pure excitement is basically all you can get out of that trailer. So.
Tyler, why don't you go, since you have kind of this isn't necessarily the franchise you're looking for, but I'm curious to hear an outside look on this. How do you feel?
I'm giving it a B.
Okay.
Because I know how highly regarded the Fable series is, so I'm expecting pretty good things. And Ashton, I also want to smack the shit out you for that Halo comment. That shit made no sense.
I mean, it did though. But all right.
No, it did. No, how?
343 is calling that game a spiritual reboot because it's not going to play like any other Halo. They said this.
I think the way now let me interject here, because I just as a referee here, I think what Tyler's getting at is the way that you referenced it. Now, you stop me if I'm wrong. You referenced it was the fact that it's directing it more towards the reboot aspect of it is being highlighted, while as Fable is probably just a flat out, the only thing that it's going to be is just, here's a fantasy world that has a little British comedy, and here's Fable. While as Halo is like, it's still the franchise, we're just dropping the number now. Like, that's kind of, at least, is that, am I wrong? Is that what you were thinking?
No, you hit it. Okay. It's like, this is, in a sense, essentially, it's just like naming Halo 5 Guardians. It's the same thing. It is a Halo 6. It continues after, so I can't really call it spiritual reboot my ass. That's basically like me shitting on a...
They did say that.
No, I know.
I think it's more gameplay style, yeah.
Spiritual reboot my ass. That's like me shitting on a plate, handing it to you and telling you it's pork chop. It's not. It's still shit.
Oh, there's a visual.
It's not saying Halo's gonna be shit, but it's more so like, come on, like, what the fuck is a spiritual reboot? What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a video game term that they just decided to use, but yeah. See, I did get what Ashton was saying though too. I don't want to like totally pity part, like throw him in the corner there
at all. But like, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. That's just the way I see it. You can disagree. I don't really give a shit.
I know you don't give a shit. The fuck. See, again, how Fable's regarded. Again, I guess before any of this, even though I may not play this game, I will definitely look into it. There's a bunch of games I don't play that I always keep tabs on. This would definitely be one of them.
And who knows? Maybe this is the one that gets you in. Maybe that's the whole point. I am curious to see that what.
Maybe this is the one that makes me play old ones.
Oh, okay. Maybe. I thought you said this is the one that makes me play Roblox. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Definitely keep an open eye.
Yeah.
Open mind.
Yeah, because I'm very excited. As soon as I heard Playground was taking this one, I was like, The car guys? Like we're gonna give the game to the car guys? All right, cool, whatever.
Good landscapes and stuff.
Yes, they do make very pretty games. Very pretty games. It's not to the top that Turn 10 does, because they're the ones that make the more racing style simulation sort of thing. But Playground's more of the like, hey, here's the story. Here's like a little story. Like this is their first time, and again, this gets me jazzed about like what Playground is gonna do now, because now they got two main games that are two franchises I absolutely adore. Like I've never seen them make Fable, so I can't say that it's gonna be great. But with Forza Horizon, the whole series of that, they play amazing. Like the fact that it's this open world car racing game, they make it simulation but not too much simulation. They make it open world but not too like separating you from it's a racing game and things like that. And they are truly my favorite team that makes racing games, and I think Turn 10 is helping them out with that, and then also Turn 10 making their games. It's really cool to see that Microsoft. Now, it's definitely interesting, why didn't Microsoft just make another studio just to make this? But maybe it's more complicated than that. But it is cool to see Playground is going to be the ones taking the helm of it. I am a Fable fan. I did not play the first one, but I've played 2 and 3 from beginning to end, and I absolutely love the British Monty Python reference heavy like that kind of humor, the British comedy humor, because it definitely is a different type of humor. Like that's not it's not it could be as over the head hitting you with a joke, but it also can't be, and then sometimes it's a reference that maybe isn't as referenced in America, sort of thing. But there's definitely some like slapstick sort of comedy that is in Fable, so I'm curious to see what Playground's sort of take on that is. But yeah, super excited. I'm gonna give it a B+, because I do want to see a little more of it. I do understand why they probably didn't want to show Fable. It's probably the same reason why they didn't want to show much of Hellblade, because those games, I think what they're trying to focus on with this conference, and kind of summing up the whole topic of this, is Halo was the highlight. You have to get Halo in the hands of people. Game Pass or physical or otherwise, you need to sell this game. And I think the fact that they stepped away and they're like, hey, we just want to let you know, we're working on this game, we're working on this game, and we're working on this game. These are our 3 games coming soon, but not this year. We're focusing on Halo. This is our priority. And I think that was good on Microsoft's part, is to make Halo the big highlight of this. They kicked it off. I mean, a lot of people were like, why was Halo the first thing? Why not save it for the last thing? But I mean, it's statistically shown that most people drop off in the first like 15 to 20 minutes of conferences. So you have to show Halo first. And especially since it's being very hyped up. So I think with... I feel
like that's the reverse when it comes to like conferences, and especially this one, with knowing for sure Halo was going to be there. Mm-hmm. They were going to stick around for it. It's much like when it's like, we've done it plenty of times over. Like, we go to this conference, we don't know what to expect, but we'll always want something. It's like it's like Nathan sitting there watching E3, right, and always hoping for Skate. Mm-hmm. You're there because it's one sole thing is driving you. I feel like you get more droppage out of like viewers if you show Halo first, and everyone's like, "Well, that's what I wanted. I'm leaving." Mm-hmm. It's like, damn.
Yeah, but I guess it's more of
for like third.
Go ahead.
That's all I say.
Yeah,
I didn't hear what you said.
They should save it for like third.
Oh, see, I think that mainly why they needed to show Halo right off the bat, it was because everyone knew it was going to be there. Everyone knew it was going to be there. It wasn't a surprise. We just needed to see more of it. We needed to see what most people wanted, a release date. That was really all that really people wanted. But they didn't do that. They showed campaign, which was something that was to be they wanted to see. But I think that you couldn't have announced Fable as a mic drop. You couldn't have done that. It would have got lost in the shuffle along with a lot of the other games that were shown. And I think it's definitely more of, as the company, they just need to show one game right now and need to sell it, and they need to get out there. Now, with that also said, there was no second game. Like all these other games were coming, but a lot of them were just still holiday stuff. Like I think they didn't show Flight Simulator, which I think they don't need to show because I think whoever's gonna buy that game is gonna buy that game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Forza Horizon being teased.
I would be actually interested in playing that just to see how the graphics are.
But see, that's the thing. You can do that with Game Pass, and that was the big thing that Phil Spencer said in the beginning of the conference.
Game Pass is so fucking good.
Well, now it's like 4,000 times better because Phil Spencer said in the beginning, I guess people were confused on, but every single game that was shown will be on Game Pass. Every single one of those, which is insane, which just boosted the whole entire value of what Game Pass is going to be. So, yeah. So back to Fable, I'm going to give it a B+ because I did want to see a little bit more, like Al Ashton said. It's been teased. It's been heavily rumored. It just needed to be confirmed. I wish it was a little bit more of just confirmed, like, hey, yeah, it does exist, but I'm glad it exists, and I'm just going to accept that. But yeah, it was a cool mic drop. It was just like, hey, yeah, here it is.
It was awesome. I was screaming in the party.
As soon as I saw Playground Games, I'm like, we already saw Forza! So,
yeah, I just started screaming. Like, yeah! I know what this is. Like as soon as I saw the graphics, I'm like, I know this. I've seen this.
Yeah. Any final words of the conference or the update, Xbox update, July update, or whatever?
It was good. I'm excited to see the next one.
Okay. Tyler, any final words?
No, I don't think I have any.
Yeah, I'm good. I've said my spiel. So we're moving on to hopefully shorter topics. Let's kick off the part 2. Bit 2 to the episode with games are going up to $70, and that is the we got to see that kind of be shown in the light a little bit with NBA 2K21, I believe is the next one, being priced now at $70 for the mainline game if you are going to buy the base standard edition. So I guess the topic of this one is, how do you feel about the fact that games are going to go up $10 extra? I also want to reference the fact when I was looking up, so to give you guys a little bit of time to think of what you want to say. When I was looking up the Medium, you can pre-order the game for $49.99. So
What?
I would assume that the game would have actually been, if it was released on this generation, would have been a $40 game, but those $40 games are going to start to go to $50. So it's not just going to affect these standard baseline games. That's a theory. There's a theory. It's just a theory that I have, but I did see on the Xbox store you can pre-order the Medium for $49.99. Just thought that was a weird price for the standard edition because it's not a main release game, and it's all, so that might also happen too, that the $40 games are going to be bumped to $50. We might see the $20 games be bumped up to $30. So I guess who wants to start? Ashton, Tyler? I feel like I've talked enough.
I mean, technically we were kind of overdue for a price increase.
Oh yeah.
Especially with like the technology that, how far we've come from the $60 price tag. So I get it. But my thing is, with these full price games being $60 or $70, I don't want to see any fucking stupid ass goddamn battle pass bullshit or any fucking overpriced cosmetics that you cannot earn with a general grind. If you're making me pay full price for a game, I am not grinding for 2 weeks to get one piece of armor. I want to be able to get cool shit without having to spend $15 fucking more after I spent full price on your game. Battle Pass, we can talk about it, but the game needs to be good at full price. I'm a firm believer in that.
Now taking
DLC
a step back
fine.
for a second,
Whatever.
on your opinion of the game itself. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, full line game, campaign, multiplayer, everything, and then also added Warzone that does have a battle pass. Does that qualify in this bullshit territory, or is that okay for the $70 price tag?
That's okay, because Warzone, you don't have to get Call of Duty for. Warzone is a separate thing. That's free. They can get away with that. I don't like free to play games because they're like that. I would rather pay $60 or $70 to get a game where I can actually play it in all of its entirety and get all the rewards from it.
So you would pay $60 for an all online game?
Yes.
Okay. Just
Absolutely.
getting your stance on that. Just as we're talking about the $70.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you feel about like sports games? NBA, obviously, Madden's probably going to hit that price tag as well, $70.
Look, here's the thing with sports games. They're cash grabs. It's usually the same shit every year, and they don't change much. And you can make the argument about shooters too, like Call of Duty, but it is on a whole different fucking level with some of these sports games. There was it was NBA that had in-game advertisements, and it still had microtransactions at $60.
Mm-hmm.
That is ridiculous. Looking at the new games are going to be $70. Okay, what is going to change with these games? What's going to be so special about these games like that are going to require a $10 increase, and assuming that they're going to keep those same microtransactions and shitty practices?
Mm-hmm.
Some games don't need to go up, and sports games, in my opinion, don't, because they haven't done shit for their community over the past 5 years. Anything groundbreaking.
Now I haven't actually bought a sport game like either FIFA or Madden or MLB The Show in probably that amount of time, 5 to 6 years, because it like you said, they don't change much, and it's just fine tuning, and you don't really see the drastic change in things unless you play. I guess Madden had the story campaign thing. NBA has been adding their little campaign as well. It has a little story that goes along with it. That is kind of added more incentive to buy the next game. But then in FIFA, when they introduced this whole thing about I can't remember what the character's name was, but you got to play as a person. There was a whole character that they created specifically for this campaign for FIFA. And if you played FIFA 15, 16, and 17, I could be butchering those years, but you'll get it. You can play the complete story. It actually continued the story in the next FIFA game. So it was kind of cool. And whatever you had done in FIFA 15, then in FIFA 16, he would be all those stats, and then you would continue his story through that. And then there was also kind of a pickup thing of oh, you didn't play 15? That's fine. Here's where you're starting off at. They tried it with Madden. I think they've only done that twice. They did it twice for Madden. And then NBA, I think, has been doing this for a while, but you can actually have a created character. Tyler, I don't know if you can jump in on that. You haven't played it in a while, but isn't there usually a campaign you can create a player for?
Yeah. My career.
Yeah.
It's like thing but it wasn't to the degree that you said FIFA was doing it, or I think NFL did it too.
Yeah, Madden's done it. Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't to the degree of that, as far as I know. You were giving your own, or you were giving a preset character. I think NBA is never gonna do that, for the fact that I think NBA is the biggest cash grab of all the sports games.
I mean, it is a huge money, a lot of money. Yeah, FIFA's big.
No. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think NBA is their best one, because you have to buy the V, because you have to upgrade.
FIFA is the build a team. You got to buy all the fucking cards and bullshit.
Well, that's Foot, and Mutt is also attesting to that with Madden. But Tyler is right. I mean, there's no basketball game that is it's just like how Madden, there's no other football game EA's tried to bring back NBA Live. It doesn't fucking work. They never hit it. 2K, I mean, when people talk about 2K, they're not talking about the company. They're not talking about WWE. They're talking about NBA. They don't even need to say NBA. They just say, are you going to get 2K? You just know what they're talking about.
Why I say is because most of all my friends, the grind that comes with 2K is more so you may have the packs with FIFA, but remember 2K, you're on that grind to get your character to a 99 overall, right? You can make that shortcut, what they call VC. I'm pretty sure is there.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more along. I forgot what I can equate it to. Maybe COD points per se, but it's that, as well as you can buy shit. You're always just trying to upgrade your character and get them up. I'm pretty sure I think you have multiple characters. I don't know, but people it's also with NBA. It's a class system. Funny enough, it's like you have like sharpshooters. I forgot. Me and my friend were talking about because I don't really play the game, but my friend does. So I talk to him about it for him to explain. But there's like classes to NBA. Like what is your character going to be most proficient in?
Mm-hmm.
Going to be a big man. He's going to be a little small guy. He's going to go to the rim. He's going to do all that. You could pick that by setting your character's class. Make them in your image, what you would want to be if you were ever in the NBA. So I think, like, again, when you say 2K, you ain't thinking of FIFA, you ain't thinking of Madden, you thinking of NBA.
Yeah. I mean, the company themselves, like 2K, the company, they definitely have just marketed NBA as that's their big sports game. They don't care about the other. Really, like WWE, you can see it's like, hey, cool, if people are gonna buy this game, great, but like it does not get as much love. And I don't know if that's because of who's in charge of making the WWE games, but there's so much bugs and shit that comes with the WWE games, where NBA thrives in how well it's done, how well it looks. The trailer that we saw at the PlayStation 4 event, that was like with the ray tracing and stuff like that. That's insane. That's what the game's gonna look like. It's like to look at where 2K has started back in 1999, I believe, is when, like, I don't know when NBA 2K started. So we'll say in the early 2000s. It looks drastically different. And they
drive next to their sweaty picture is actually pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, they do really talk about the sweat in the game. And I mean, that is something. Sweat. I mean, that is something that, you know, it's a detail.
Level of detail,
yeah. That's been put into it. Because obviously you can't put detail in the hardwood after a while. You're just like, yep, it's wood. Like, you can't do like blades of grass like you can do in FIFA and Madden. So, but it's definitely like 2K has constantly been knocking it out with that. And I do think the level of technology, to go back to the price tag, I think that's why it's able to get the $70 mark, and how it's able to hit the $60 mark for the current games. It's because how much technology and time and years that it's gone into making these games. We don't see them, you know, change drastically because we're constantly looking at the games. So there's not very much, like when Madden comes out and they're like, yeah, it's a new juke system. You're like, oh, great. That's it. That's really all they need to do. Like that, to make it so fine tuned into juking, into like the level of the technology they go into, that the guys that go out there during football games and actually have a vest that says like Madden performance reviewer. Like, that's a job. Like, he goes out there and he rates them. Like, it's just that level of how much goes into making those games. I think that gets them that $70 tag, but it definitely is. I'm okay with $70 going in. I'm also not a kid anymore, so I have money. I make my own money, so I can go and buy a $70 game, or I have Game Pass where all my Xbox exclusive games are going to be a part of. So there's ways around it, but it definitely is something for, if I was a kid, that's not good news. $70 is not good news. That's
especially
like
these times.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, when you're trying to ask mom to go buy you NBA 2K21, you know, it's going to be a little bit harder. Now, I will say, Tyler, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the Kobe edition $100 or is that $110?
I'm pretty sure the Kobe edition is 100. It's 100.
So why did that not go up $10? That's what I want to know.
Fucking Kobe edition, I guess. I mean, they're probably gonna keep those special editions, like a set price. Remember, this Kobe edition is the last personalized edition to ever come out. They're not doing it anymore.
Oh, really?
Like, no one else is getting a fucking like a special cover other than Kobe.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Yeah, it's marked at the Forever Edition is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
PS5 $99. So those didn't go up. But if what we saw with the medium, it seems like the games below the $60 mark are going to go up $10. So I'm wondering where that cutoff is. If they're wondering, like, hey, we're already getting an extra $30 out of you or $40 out of you, you know, depending on whatever game you're getting. it doesn't matter to bump up this an extra $110 because that would just be kind of redundant that you're already spending the extra money to get this edition. So I guess special editions are going to stay the same, but I don't know. But how do you
find out?
Yeah. So how do you feel about if those under $60 games or under $70 games, I guess, going up an extra $10, are those okay to do that, or are you wondering like why that is a thing?
Like what type of game?
I don't think those are worth it. No, I think that's the issue. Because obviously no offense, even though the game may be good, there's something in your game lacking that doesn't make it that $60 mark. So if you're gonna charge me more for a game that I know doesn't deserve the original price tag, do I really want to sit there and deal with that? Because I already know it's lacking.
So I guess for Ashton, it would be like if the medium, let's say if my theory is correct, the medium, if it came out on Xbox One, it was gonna be $40. But right now on Xbox's website, it's marked at $49.99. So it's $50, which is a weird tag. Again, I haven't tested this out on any of the other games that were announced. But it being this, like, what would have been a $40 game is now $50. How do you still feel with the $20 gap that they're trying to fill in? Do you think that's still appropriate, or do you think that no,
Depends
the game is still $40?
the game is. I
Well,
mean,
I think it's more of a studio thing at this point. There are games that come out now that are at $40, like Destroy All Humans. That's I think a $40 game right now.
It just depends on the fidelity of the game, honestly. How much time, money, and like work they put into it. I mean, if they throw out like a AA game, I don't want to pay full price for it
but that would be full price
to make it.
Yeah, well, that would be the next. That would be the standard at that point. The $50 would be the standard at that point.
Yeah, and that's.
So you have a little bit of a problem with that sort of thing.
I do, and
Okay.
the reason for that is like, if they aren't taking advantage of that new technology and becoming said AAA studio, I don't want to see their prices go up. I mean, sure, you could call it like going off of like a what is it, like fucking, what is that called when you get like a fucking 3% raise? What kind of raise is that?
Like a performance review sort of thing?
No, not a performance review. It's like
I get what you're saying. You get the little
living wage increase,
like your anniversary date.
Things are costing more, so you get paid more.
Oh,
their things aren't going to be costing more if
Okay.
they're doing the same quality of game.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it's going to be cheaper for them to do that same quality of game. So I don't see them.
Now the game is not coming out on Xbox One. I just want to say.
Yeah, I'm just saying as a whole. I'm not saying like
Mm-hmm.
just the shit on the medium or anything like that. But if you're making a AA game,
There you go. That's better wording.
you don't need to be making your prices go up because you're using cheaper technology. It's probably going to be cheaper to use now than it was back then, like say 5 years ago. You're saving more money now, so why are you charging us more? That's not right.
And so, but you feel it's okay for bigger companies, the AAAs, and then the future quadruple A companies to charge
as long as they're not just completely destroying their player base with only being able to look good with microtransactions. Then yes.
Okay.
If they do the Star Wars Battlefront shit, they're really fucking dumb and they didn't learn from EA's mistake. So let's just make sure that we are making conscious decisions here when this next generation comes out, because if you let people to slide, they're gonna take advantage. So just make sure gamers that you're fucking looking out. Don't buy into shit. Don't be a sheep.
Tyler, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but just to kind of clarify what you were going for, you definitely do not think that the currently the AA teams is what I think Ashton hit it on there. The AA teams charging the extra $10 as well to bump their games up to $50. You don't think that's a good idea?
No, but it's gonna happen regardless. We're just gonna have to deal with it. It's like because everyone's got to compete, right? No one wants to get shafted in like their money. I mean, I recognize the work you put into the games, but again, there's something about your game that didn't make the cut. And God, I hope this doesn't fucking get out, because me being a game designer, this will bite me in the ass so fucking quick. But you have to know what your game's worth. But hopefully, with this, honest thinking about it, I feel like, as I just said, that know what your game's worth. I feel like this will create a rift in games that do go up in pricing and games that stay the same because of the content. Now I think this begins a whole another like price bracket for games. We will see more $50 games, but we still will see $30 games because of what they have, which is not up to snuff.
Yeah, it is definitely weird to see the $49.99, which currently is the $39.99, but there is the $19.99 price tag as well. So there's like, and I don't really think that there was that many breakdowns until this generation, was like, because obviously there was different options, different studios. There's a lot more gaming studios making games now. So you have like the free to play, the $10, like the sub $5 games, which you see on like Steam, and sometimes you'll see it on the Xbox store. You have the sub $10 price tag, which is like, still very indie developed, maybe made by like 2 or 3 guys. And then you get the $19.99 price tag, which might be an indie game, small studio, thing like that. Then you got the $29.99 price tag, and it's like there's like all these different brackets, and I mean it's very confusing to see who the hell is a part of that, each different one. The only one that everyone really sees is you're either indie or you are mainline AAA gaming studio. But now we're seeing more in the middle of that. So I guess like for me, I think it's whatever. I think there's dozens of different ways to obtain games now legally. Please do not buy games used. It hurts companies. But like, you do what you got to do. And I think that, gaming companies, maybe like GameStop, can come back now, because like, I mean, they're not gone, but maybe we'll thrive a little more, because now games are people can't afford the mainline $70 game. And maybe more people are now inclined to also buy the $99 version, because it's only a couple $30 more now. Who knows? Like, this opens up a whole different like sort of doors for the gaming studios now. And but yeah, I mean, with Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and all these other like Steam sales and Ubisoft and Epic Game Store and Uplay, like all these other, Ubisoft is Uplay, but Origin is what I was trying to say. But like, there's these different outlets to obtain sales of games on PC and console, that it's, maybe it isn't that big of a deal to get the $70 price tag, and for teams and companies to want a little bit extra cash in the pocket so that they can make better games. Because we've clearly seen, if a studio has time and the money, they can make brilliant games. I mean, we even saw that with...
Yeah, we got some brilliant minds out there.
Yeah, like with like State of Decay 3 and all that stuff. Hopefully, if we get more money to them. But I don't know. So, overall, now that we've kind of talked it out, Ashton, are you a fan of the $70 price tag? Yay or nay? Is it appropriate? Is it allowed?
For some, yes. Depends on the situation, but overall, yeah, I think it's fine. I just better see some amazing pushes.
Tyler, how do you feel about the overall $70 price tag here?
I don't quite like it. Even if I did have like a job, it's like, are the games coming out going to be worth that? Because some people don't like, for example, Ashton doesn't like fucking Call of Duty. So it's like, would he want to play 70? No. But I do agree with a point Ashton brought up earlier, where it was bound to happen. Better technology is coming out. You got to get more bang for your buck. You put more into this game. You should be rewarded with more.
Yeah, and I think overall for me, I've kind of said my spiel at the last part there, but like, I think $70 is fine. You guys are right. It's definitely what it's a long time coming that we were going to get a price increase. I mean, games used to be upwards in the $80 to $90 range for a standard edition for those carts, for like NES and then Super NES. So, because there was like no price tag, there was no like standard. It was just like fucking whatever you want and how limited your game is. But now, games aren't limited, so it is what it is, I guess. $70 coming soon, so get ready. Start breaking those piggy banks open and start mowing some lawns. We're moving on to our third and final topic. Game of the Decade 2017. We'll kind of come to our conclusion. We're almost done. We only got 2 more years, and then we're in the we will finally get to vote on what is the game of the decade that we've been talking about all year of 2020. To sum up, if you guys are just joining for those, please go check out the other episodes that we've talked about the game of the decade. But essentially, we go through the year and we find a representative that will be challenging the other representatives of past years in the decade class of 2010 to 2019. And in this episode, we'll be talking about 2017. So, the list is Resident Evil 7, Horizon Zero Dawn, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, Hellblade, Fortnite, Cuphead, Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, and Destiny 2. Ashton, did you play any of these games?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played pretty much most of them.
Okay. Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, it was fucking fantastic.
Okay. Have you played a lot of Resident Evils?
5, a little bit of 6,
Okay.
and then 7.
So you would say that this one was probably your favorite Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that. That's accurate.
Okay. I do see you play the multiplayer every once in a while on stream. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. They had a lot of good DLC. I enjoyed my time.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Did you ever play that? PS4 exclusive.
I did not. I don't have a PS4, so.
Coming to PC though. That's since then. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You're not a Legend of Zelda fan. Yeah, okay. All right.
No, fuck
Go ahead, tell us what it is.
It's amazing. It's completely different than any other Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fantastic.
Is this your favorite
Almost
one?
got a perfect score. I would say it's definitely up there.
Okay. Persona 5, did you play?
I did not play that,
Okay.
no.
PS4 exclusive as well. Hellblade once was a PS4 exclusive. Eventually, a year later, just popped up in the Microsoft Store. So, you ever get to play Hellblade? Now, the studio being owned by Microsoft.
I have not, but I'm excited for the second one.
Mm-hmm. Free on Game Pass, so more incentive for that. Fortnite. You ever dabble in the old Fortnite game?
I tried it when it came out. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
The game could suck my dick.
Cuphead.
It's too easy. I hate the building. It's trash.
Yeah, it came out at a pretty perfect time. Cuphead. Yeah. What do you think about Cuphead?
Bullet hell, a lot of fun, super hard, a lot of good times playing it.
Mm-hmm. DLC coming soon.
Yeah, DLC.
Mm-hmm. It just actually went to PS4 a couple days ago. Assassin's Creed Origins.
Didn't play it.
Okay. Sort of I wouldn't say reboot, but they definitely added a lot different of a style to this Assassin's Creed that they've brought into Odyssey, that they're doing into Valhalla. So there's like definitely this continuation of this different type of Assassin's Creed. But a lot of people are loving it. So it's more on that in a little bit when I get to it. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Did you play Wolfenstein 2? Or no? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
That looked fucking awesome when you were playing it.
Mm-hmm. Did play that on stream. And a little game called Destiny 2. Did you play that?
Yeah.
So you, as a Destiny fan, not a fan of Destiny 2, though. So why did this one get y'all down in the dumps?
So, for me, they kind of shit all over my PvP that I liked in Destiny 1. And it's better now, but I mean, it's not how it was. They made it too team shooty, which a lot of people played by themselves. Not everybody had that full raid team. They would always go through LFG. LFG really kicked off in a big way on consoles because of Destiny 1. And it just wasn't very good. Now, base game, I liked the PvE. I thought it was an improvement from 1 in terms of being base game, because that's what we're talking about, not DLC, because we're talking about the current year. But it was good for PvE. The story was pretty decent, but it just wasn't checking all my boxes.
Mm-hmm. All right, Tyler, let's run you through the gauntlet. Resident Evil 7. Did you play it?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. Enjoyed it.
You have played past Resident Evils though. So
I played a little bit of 4.
Okay. And what did you? Is this one rank up as one of the best ones, or is it on the bottom of your list?
No, it had to be towards the bottom. I don't
really?
really like the first person ness of it all. I'm not like a huge fan.
What?
That was a different change. That was a change for the Resident Evil fans. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. Was it fun? Yeah, but like definitely not the best for me personally.
Okay.
So.
Horizon Zero Dawn. You ever get a chance to play it?
Never played it, just watched it.
Okay. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Watch this man over here play it all the fucking time.
Persona 5.
Watch my brother play that.
Okay. Anything you want to take away from that, or just
Persona?
more? Yeah.
I always kind of wanted to give it a try. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's really cool.
Like really weird cult following on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Golden, I think, really kicked it up, especially for Vita fans, the people that played on Vita. Now that's on Steam, so you can pick that up for like $20. But yeah, Persona 5 definitely was the capitalization of Persona 4 Golden, of like, hey, now it's on PS5. Plays really good. Persona 5 Royal is now the, like, I guess, sort of next game thing. I'm still confused on it, even though it's been out for a couple weeks. But it's like a 5.5 essentially, and it's a continuation, full line $60 game. But it's just, different. There's some like new story and whatnot. Hellblade. Did you ever get to play Hellblade?
No, just watched it.
Okay. Fortnite.
I played it.
Okay. How do you feel about Fortnite?
Enjoyed it when it first came out. I do not enjoy it now. No.
What about Cuphead?
Oh, I played it. Fuck that game, but it's so good.
Art style's great. Assassin's Creed Origins.
Played it. Really enjoyed it. It's, as you said, like, if we're gonna go with reboots of sorts, haha. It was nice. Like, the upgrade tree really set it apart. I just don't like how they took it and ran with it for like the next like 2 games. Well, I was 2 games because one after has Odyssey. After Odyssey, it's gonna be Valhalla, and it's probably gonna have the same systems Origin. So.
Do you like the new systems?
Yes, I think it's way more in depth. Adds like an actual, I guess, like RPG style to it.
Yeah.
You play how you want to play. You upgrade what you want to upgrade. So it gives you different choices to like how you want to go about a certain assassination target, and just how you want to go about like just playing the game regularly.
Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus.
Played it. Fucking enjoyed it.
Oh, you did play that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I played the first one just to beat. The second one. I didn't get to beat the second one because in school, but I played the first one just to run through that one. I beat the first one like 2 days. And started the second one.
That second one, that one kick your ass sometimes in certain spots.
I think I left off in New Orleans, or like it's after New York.
Okay, so you saw the parade.
I think
there's a little.
But basically, put it like this: I think the last thing I remember doing is like riding around on a robotic dog.
And then Destiny 2. You played a little, dabbled in that too.
Yeah, I do not have the same opinion as my colleague here. Okay, at the beginning that game was fucking ass, honestly, but it got way better.
You've recently picked it up too. Like you've gotten back into it now.
I never really dropped it. Like I drop it periodically. Like I was like, I'm gonna play something else and come back to it. I never really like kicked it cold turkey because I feel like that game I really can't. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I'm not really a huge PvP person, so I don't really care for what I can see what Ash was bringing up. I don't really care for it because it's like my heart's in like the raids and whatnot. Because PvP is so small compared to personally to me all the other things you can do about it. So
okay. So yeah, I guess for myself, running through the gauntlet, Resident Evil 7, never got to. I have not played it yet. I usually try to wait for it to be on sale on PS4 so I can play the VR version of it. Because I do have PSVR, but then every time it's on sale, I never really have the time or money to buy it. And now I do, but I haven't done it yet. But I don't want to, I just haven't done it. I didn't play the PS4, and I hate hearing my PS4 cry when I play games. So, plus it's a bitch to set up that VR. So, Horizon Zero Dawn, I have not played. I do own it, but I've not touched it at all. It's one of those games that's just been on the catalog, just waiting to be played. Now it's coming to PC, so I might pick it up on PC. and I like the concept of it. It's like this sort of like I don't want to say medieval, but I'd say like maybe Nordic is probably more of a collision of that. But it's modern. Like it's not in the past; it's in the future. And there's all these mechanical things and beasts and stuff like that. And I think that's pretty cool. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I did not like this game, and I have been very. I don't think I've actually said that publicly, but I've said it in the inner circle. Ashton, who did you get the Switch game from of this? The Switch version.
I got it from you. I bought it from you.
Yes, you did. I didn't like it, just because I don't know if it was the fact it was on the Switch. I don't know if it was the fact. I mean, there was a couple things I just found very like annoying and like not worth my time. Like going to the little camps and just killing up those little like troll things. There's not really a reward for doing that. It's just kind of doing it. And then I understand if I probably would have kept going, I probably could have gotten into the game a little bit more. And maybe someday I'll pick it up again when it's, when I feel like in the mood for it. But it just, I don't know. The Zelda games have never been a big part of my category of games, though my family loves it. My uncle, that's one of his favorite games. My cousin, she plays it all the time. She's completed that game backwards and forwards. It's by far her favorite franchise on the Switch, and I talked with her about it. I even got her a Breath of the Wild coffee mug last Christmas. So it's like, it's definitely a big deal of the people that I know, and I respect the game. Do not get me wrong. I think that it's well deserved of all the praise that it's gotten. Just for me personally, not a big fan of it. Persona 5, I've played a little bit. I've put in about 25 hours into the game, and think the story's great. I love Persona 4. I just haven't gone back to Persona 5 because I think something else came out at the time. I think I jumped on Red Dead when I tried to get back into it or something like that. It just other games came up and I just never play it all the way through. I just need to. Hellblade I've played about 2 or 3 hours of. I think it's cool. It's really cool. Looks visually great on Xbox One X. So Fortnite, played a little bit of it at the beginning of launch when it was still in beta and Epic didn't know what the fuck they were doing with it, and it was still the end of the world or whatever the hell they were calling it. I like how that game was supposed to be this like Minecraft zombie horde game, and then it just became what PUBG totally it was. Evolved. Yeah, it's interesting of how that's a pivot. That is the definition of a business pivot right there. So not
one in history.
Yeah, not a big fan of Fortnite, but it's kind of in the same realm of Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Still respect it.
I respect it. Yeah. A lot of people build a lot of careers off of that. Cuphead, absolutely love the art style. It gives me that old Disney fashion, sort of old Mickey style cartoon, hand drawn game, because the game is hand drawn, frame by frame. It's just a beautiful game. That's another game I've just never gone back to going into it, but I did love it when I was playing it. Assassin's Creed Origins, I gotta give that more time. I'm trying to go through the whole Assassin's Creed franchise, actually, so we'll see if I continue that path. But it's gonna take me a while before I get to Origins. But yeah, I think Tyler touched on most of the key points on that. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Again, the Wolfenstein series is one of my favorite franchises current franchises. Just knocking it out. I think it's cool. I think it's awesome. They in Wolfenstein 2 brought that whole alternate universe reality thing of if the Nazis won the war, what would happen to America. I remember seeing it at PAX where they were just talking about how this is essentially what modern America would look like. Or not modern America. I think it's the 80s. I think is or no, I think it's around 70s. 70s and 80s, yeah, 70s, late 70s, early 80s. And BJ has been with Anya and the rest of that crew for a while, so they've kind of developed their relationship. Anya's pregnant, so BJ is gonna have 2 kids, is what they eventually tell you. And what Wolfenstein Youngblood continues that storyline. But yeah, it's a cool game. Fucking hard because they essentially got it feels like every setting that you're on is one higher than what you would normally play, so normal is technically hard because it is just so freaking hard. Some people had to drop that game to easy to even complete the game. I did not. I kept it at my normal setting.
Boy,
and I toughed it out. I got rage moments. You can watch it here on the channel. I completed it all. But goddamn, that game got me sometimes. Cool game too. Beautiful looking game. Destiny 2. I've played it. I've never really gotten into Destiny, so I can't honestly give that opinion to there. But there it is. So after that, it's time to vote. We each get we each got to vote, and I'm just gonna go based on the ones that got votes, and then we'll go from there. The ones that got votes were Resident Evil 7, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, Fortnite, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Those are the ones that made it to the final 5. Ashton, how do you feel about the final 5? Do you feel like those are some pretty solid games representing
They're
2017?
pretty solid, yeah. It's sad that we had to pick one to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a good year for games.
Yeah, I actually didn't think 2017 was going to be that, but there was some pretty solid games. And they were pretty split out, too. Like, enough to be like, oh, okay, I'm playing throughout the year.
Got us time to shine, is what you're saying.
Yeah. But, Tyler, how do you feel about the final 5?
I think it's good. It kind of covers. It got something for everybody in there, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very diverse genre list of what games were out. We got this horror game in the beginning of the year. Resident Evil 7 came out in the beginning of that year, which was really weird. Kind of came out of nowhere, too, didn't it? Wasn't it, like, very quickly announced?
Much. Yeah, we were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and then they're like, Resident Evil Biohazard. You're like, what the hell? So, and then, okay, I think that the list is very, very well done, obviously.
Yeah, it was a pretty good selection there.
Knocking it down to our final 2, it got to a tiebreaker of what we did, but we eventually came to consensus that the last game was going to be the one that represented. But the 2 final games, I thought Zelda would have been brought into the final. But Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and Fortnite were our final 2. How do you feel about these 2 juggernauts going head to head? Definitely different spectrum here, but how do you guys feel?
Yeah, completely different games. Like, one is totally like story driven, way more graphic and like foul. It's
way more
crazy.
Let's all remember how fucking Fortnite had to do an update to remove ass physics from their game. That was great.
They didn't need to do that.
But yeah, that's true. They didn't need to, but they did.
Enjoy while I'm getting fucked by this goddamn super mega builder building a hotel in front of my face.
Yeah, but like in terms of like graphic, the gore, there's one's very, very violent and one's more like cartoony and everybody's able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
One's a VR. Yeah, it's completely different games here, like in every way. So it's just strange that they both ended up there at the top. Just 2 completely different types of games.
Mm-hmm. Tyler, how do you feel about our final 2 here?
Nope. Which one is taking it home?
That which one?
We know which one is taking it home.
I know, Wolfenstein, great game. No, I'm just joking. Fortnite obviously is our 2017 representative. It's just so big of a game. I mean, as much as us 3 don't play it,
We straight up don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not fun anymore. People are too good at the game. I don't want to play it anymore. I do remember like the first time when that game came out on the Battle Royale was free, and I was like, guys, let's jump off PUBG. Let's try Fortnite. Like, I hear this, like, Epic's making it. The guys made Gears of War. Like, I was fully supportive of it. And then everyone's like, this game runs like shit. And I was like, all right, well.
So did PUBG at the time.
It did. Really PUBG was really bad. But yeah, and it was I think we all didn't really think it was ever gonna catch on or ever beat PUBG, and then it did kind of split the world of were you the real life PUBG player, like the real simulator.
Because it was like the first like console free to play like powerhouse, so it was.
But I think that's also what may have beat PUBG was that $30 fucking price tag. That they just
and it's also like it ran better too. Like Fortnite ran better than PUBG, and it's shit would actually load in. It was more playable. they were there at the peak of when BRs were a thing, and they had something free and something that worked, and then it just went on from there.
Yeah,
and
the constant support that
everybody
that Epic team does. I mean, I've heard some dark rumors of the Epic team of how they kind of work their staff, but that aside, the game does constantly come out with updates and it's just it's taken on a whole different thing. I think honestly Fortnite has put itself in the marking of how Pokemon was our craze, like now Fortnite's this generation's craze.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I hate it.
I don't think Fortnite will be around as long as Pokemon though.
We'll see.
Yeah.
With support, you can watch the Tenet trailer. Yeah, so Fortnite moves on as our 2017 representative. Any final words for Game of the Decade?
Fuck you, Fortnite.
I hate it, but you gotta respect what it does.
Exactly. And hopefully people will understand.
We're trying to be unbiased.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know not everybody likes Fortnite, but most of the gamers do. So there it is.
Our main goal is to find what game defines the decade. And Fortnite
popularity.
As much as we want to, I mean, we make the list. We could easily remove Fortnite from the list, but we have to, keep in consideration that some of these games are where they're at because of
that. Would take away from the point of Game of the Decade.
But I do want to say it's up against some top tier games: GTA 5, Minecraft. There are some big names that are in this running, and I can't wait till we start talking about Game of the Decade in the finals. So we'll see.
There's gonna be some heated discussion.
There'll be some heated discussion. We might have to bring in some different people and whatnot to talk about it.
We might have to have a few people here.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how big we can get our podcast to get to. Us being on Discord, hell, we can get a whole bunch of people in here. So yeah, we're gonna wrap that up there. Yeah, that's it. I've talked to a lot. So Ashton, why don't you close us out? Give them the whole shebang.
The shebang. Check out all of our social shit in the fucking description and stuff. Tell your mom about this podcast so you get grounded. That'll happen. But we got Instagram, we got Twitter, we got Twitch, we got lots of shit. We got YouTube content every fucking week. We're here on iTunes, Podbean, anywhere where you can hear a podcast. We are there, whether we put it there ourselves or not, Google. Yeah, you can follow Tyler, this sexy black man in the Discord chat here. All of his shit's gonna be in the description. He also streams on Twitch, does all that good shit. He's funny, and the skin color is not the only thing that's dark. So is his humor. So definitely check him out.
Wow. Any final words, Tyler?
I think he said it all.
Okay, you want to leave it at that. You want to give it for the audio listeners or where they can follow you on Twitch?
You can follow me twitch.tv/Pluviio. That is PLUVIO with 2 underscores because someone else got to it before I did, but I'm the better one, obviously. And I think on Twitter, sorry, it's the same, or just 1 less underscore. I'm trying to get more active. I have 2 Twitters: gaming Twitter, professional Twitter. Gaming Twitter and my personal one because I retweet a lot of shit. I don't have a life, and I don't think my followers need to see me just going through. But yeah,
looking at ass all day.
I don't retweet the ass.
Those are for the DMs that he sends.
Yeah, those are for the guy group, right? I don't need people. I don't need my mom. I have my sister on Twitter, by the way. I have my sister fucking telling me, "Hey, why did you fucking retweet this girl sucking down a goddamn cucumber?" I'm like, oh.
It's a very.
I thought it was interesting for science, mother.
For science, but yeah, I definitely have. I'm trying to be more active on my my gaming one. So if you message me over there, I'll definitely answer. I don't do anything. Please talk to me.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow me personally at Ryan8More. You can follow Ashton at
Sticky_Ash.
There you go. I know it's hard for you to get the cues, but I'm hoping the audio cues are getting to you. I actually pointed. I don't know, like a fucking psychopath. So
I figured you did the little thumb thing.
Oh, okay. Wait, what? What's the little thumb thing?
What's the thumb thing?
Where you slide your thumb under my.
All right, everyone. We'll see you guys in the next video. Good night, everybody.